Morning everyone, it's Roz from Brumby Horse Life, and today's a new day. If you've not been to my channel before, please hit the subscribe and the like button. Today I'm going to talk about watching Tristan's new episode on TRT and my thoughts and views about what I see happening. It's a really good series of episodes, so if you haven't watched any of Tristan's videos before, do so before you watch this episode of mine. And in the meantime, have a lovely day or a lovely evening, depending on where you are in the world. Well, I was watching Tristan from TRT yesterday with his new series, and it focuses on people and their horses and the problems like psychological issues, which I think is really important, and also physical disabilities and how those physical disabilities can hamper and also cause chaos in that relationship with your horse. So one of the big ones was they were dealing with yesterday was sight, and I really related to that because I was vision impaired for a number of years, and then I was legally blind. So during those early years was when I was legally blind, was when Bill and I really formed our relationship. And I hadn't realised until I was watching this episode how much he actually compensated for me, but also that my own natural calmness around horses actually really helped him because he was a wild brumby. And because I couldn't see his reactions when he was being flighty or nervy, he realised that I wasn't responding and that there was something probably up with me. And that got his curiosity, and I think he started to think for both of us and became a visual aid for me from his own choosing. And I hadn't really thought, I thought about it, but not to the depth that I thought about it yesterday after watching just how our vision can impair not only our sight but our balance, because I used to fall over all the time simply because I couldn't see and simply because I think my eyes weren't balanced. So, what I saw clearly while watching the program yesterday was that when the owner or the handler was off balance, the horse was off balance with their body. So, the horse reacted by not knowing where to put its body, or it got pushy, shovey. It just generally got anxious. So, you can see that there's a real connection between how the owner uses their body or you use your body and how the horse responds to that. So, you don't even have to be holding the leads, I don't think, because look, I was watching when Tristan had a hold of the horse, and you can see that whenever he gets a hold of it, he just projects so much calm energy that the horse naturally starts to get it. But what I did notice was that the horse constantly looks around and checks in, where's my owner, where's that person that I'm connected to? And they were constantly trying to read their owner. So it shows me that there's a real mind connection going on between the horse and its owner that can be functional or dysfunctional. There was one horse there that was claustrophobic, and it was interesting to watch because it didn't like to go through narrow spaces. And the owner was just a lovely person. You could see he was a very kind, compassionate man. But what I could see was happening, and I think other viewers could probably see, was that he was almost like a helicopter parent. He was constantly worrying about whether his horse was going to get through that narrow gate. And she was a beautiful mare, and she kept picking up those vibes. And so what shouldn't have been a big deal had become a big deal for her. It's a bit like leaving your kid for the first time or the first few times at daycare or kindy, and the parents projecting all this anxiety, and the kiddie picks it up and thinks, oh no, what's going to happen to me? You could see that this mare had got that pattern of behaviour really well and truly reinforced into her thinking. Where it started, who knows, but they were feeding off each other, and in this case, Tristan had to break that cycle. Another one that really interested me was there was a man with a beautiful male gelding. Well, male gelding, it's a silly thing to say, but anyway, he was a defensive gelding, and he was constantly nipping at and leaping and jumping around, and you could see a wrestle match was going on all the time. And it was macho-ness versus macho-ness, but really both of them were feeling very insecure and insecure with each other. So, you could see that there was a bond there, but it was a bond that was dysfunctional, and so it was interesting to see. Also, neither one seemed to know what to do with their bodies, and so there was like a defensive battle for control. And I've seen this a lot actually, and I'm not picking on this man. How Tristan helped him was really good, but quite often the person who believes that they have to be a disciplinarian with their horse often ends up in these physical battles, where they go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. The horse tries to nip them, the horse tries to strike them, the horse leaps and jumps around them, and they manhandle and wrestle. And the more that goes on, they get increasingly frustrated. And then the discipline side starts to come out, and they slap at or kick at their horse. And it becomes a really horrible sort of scene to watch for everybody. And this man wasn't like that at all. He was really good, and plus, he had Tristan to guide him. And so as the horse started to work out his body and what his body was doing, Tristan was also working on the handler and teaching him that those short, sharp movements and defensive mode, which you could see his body was clearly in, was only going to project to the horse that there was something more to be defensive about. So, a lot of these things go on in the unconscious level where because we're in a state of confusion or in a state of anxiety, we don't often really think about what our own bodies are doing and how our own bodies is projecting really what we don't want to project, which is negativity. So, look, I'm getting a lot out of this series so far. It's only episode 2. There was a woman, and with her beautiful horse, another gelding, and he, again had problems. But what you could see straight away with her and watching her, just generally, was that she lacked confidence in herself, didn't trust her own thinking processes, questioned herself constantly. And you could see straight away that Tristan picked it up. And so it wasn't that she didn't know what to do, but she had a big mental block. So sometimes, when we're dealing with our horses, how can we expect our horses to know what to do if we've created a huge mental block or a stumbling block inside of ourselves because we're judging our own selves as being inferior or incapable of handling our horses, whatever that negative voice is in our head, can quite often be the biggest stumbling block of all. Yet, because we refuse to really look at it, we blame the horse. So I think the thing that really strikes me when I watch Tristan at work is his calm energy and his spatial awareness. They seem to be the two biggest keys when he's trying to help people and their horses, is teaching the person spatial awareness and calm energy, and also teaching the horse how to feel for itself and its own spatial awareness, and how to feel its own body, because it never occurred to me before that horses don't always have a good idea of their own body. But it makes common sense because often we don't have a realization of our own human bodies. So, we do a lot of things on an automated process without really consciously thinking about what we're projecting or what we're doing. And Tristan breaks it down for us so that we can, look at our own behaviours around our horses and going, maybe this problem that the horse has stems from me, and it's not something that somebody else in the past who owned the horse produced. It's something that I've produced. Jeez, Bill. Oh, dear. You're going to go and have a hissy fit because you're waiting for your apple treats.